So I had this vision of drawing an undead character coming out of the ground, like if it was just conjured up by some magician, and holding a sword in its right hand. Let's see here, I'll start with the head. So the head, and I'm going to have the shoulders angled. Sort of like he's pushing himself out of the ground. At least that's the idea I have for now. Because when I draw a generic torso, I don't really think about the angle. So now we have, I should have done the spine angle. Here's the spine angle. So here's the chest area. Like that. I'm sort of running out of space over here. What if I move the torso over here instead? Maybe his body's like this, so his hip area will be over here. Obviously this leg is not gonna work, it's too far away. We'll get rid of the hand of the ground, we'll get rid of that. Since we already have his foot on the ground. And here, maybe it has a shield. I always like giving skeletons shields, it's just fun. Holding a sword, so here's a rough of a hand. Of course, there's gonna be bones in here and all that. I could have maybe his foot, maybe like that. So his heel is going down into the ground. But everything serves a purpose. Every piece, even though you may erase it later, it's good to have it there. And I'll probably give him a helmet. I could have it sideways like this, just to show that maybe it moved, it shifted. Now, even though it's sideways, you know, sort of cockeyed, it's good that you make sure you put it straight to you if you're drawing this. I'm gonna give him a bracer. Back to the shoulder. And from here, we have 1, 2, maybe 2. And these would come around this way. This one comes around this way. I'm going to establish a little shadow here, which means I'm establishing a little bit of lighting. Which means this will also be darker, because that's behind and underneath. Anytime you can offset, stagger some details, you should. It just adds to the interest and the depth of your image. What I'll do is maybe put a strap, like this is strapped indentation or rise from the ring that's going underneath the leather. Now these are sort of a neat little details that, like I said, you don't have to do this. You could just put a plain strap, who cares? That the belt may be shifted and it's sort of not pointing the right direction, so I'll put the belt buckle over here. The sword seems a bit wimpy, so I'm gonna beef it up. Which means I gotta rotate the hand. This is my analytical brain kicking in here. You don't have to do this, but I feel like I have to do this. Elbow, maybe we can angle the hand this way. Behind him, the light's coming from over here. Left and behind. If that's the case, we're gonna have these shadows here. And I could do something with a bit here, a little detail, like I can give him some straps. But I don't want to put this completely in shadow because then it's not going to look right. So I'm just going to do a light shadow. That's going to sort of fade up like that. Same thing with this bone over here. Light and fade. Light and fade. This one shadow, and then the shadow of the body. It's always good to go light. Go light with it first, and then the shadow will come this way. Be dark here and then just fade down. Dark there and fade down. Dark here and just fade down this way. And this would probably be all in shadow because it's sort of underneath. So I want to put some detail here. So the hand goes to here, and then you have the thumb, palm of the hand, fingers. But I wanted to see a little highlight here. Just a little information. If I highlight here, shade this in. I'm gonna shade this a little darker than this bone so we can so I can see it. I'll leave the belt buckle that color. I may even have some of this fur. Come on, some more. There's a little lighting back here. And here I'm just gonna give each little bone a little shadow. I want to see a thickness here. Give it some weight. Give some of these lines some weight. I decided to make this one tone, same as that tone back here, because I feel like there's just too much information right now. It's good to step back and look at the big picture. I mean, I mentioned this many times because I've done the same thing where I sit here and I'll render and render and render. And it's important to step back and see what it looks like from a distance. Curious because I wanted to do this in one shadow, mostly just pure shadow. Then I went away from it, I shied away from it, and I decided to put more detail. Now this may be too much of a detail. Later on, once I do the head and everything else, I'll make decisions as to when needs to be toned down and when needs to be brought up. I'm going to blend this spike into this shadow here, into the shadow of the shield. So we have the same, it's the same value. In order to avoid me smudging this in my hand, I'll put this piece of paper right here. Could put some skin on them. Let's see what this looks like. I'm gonna come in here and erase some of this information like this. I'm not gonna completely erase everything. I'm just gonna basically I'm trying to draw with the eraser right now. I'm drawing with the eraser. Think of that. Like that, and we're gonna have areas of the skin that is rotted. Maybe some wrinkles. And I'm going to darken this with HB. And we'll see what happens here. This should definitely pop really pretty. Now back to this arm. I can probably put a muscle here. Some muscle here and muscle here. And looking at these two pieces here, this and this, they're very similar in value. So I have to make a decision here. I don't like it when I have two things that are the same value next to each other. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to darken the skin area because it's in shadow anyways. Like that. Maybe a little highlight there from wrinkles and things like that because he still has bones. I know this is bones, but I'm trying to think if I want to add some skin. So this is the chest. If I were to add some muscle. This, I want to make this darker than this, I think. Or make this darker than this. Let's see what we get. When you're shading things, don't try to smooth it out. You want to see lines. Lines are good because it shows rough. It's, you know, it's sort of sketchy. Sketchiness is good. Then we have the light coming from over here behind him. So this will all be in shadow. To the face. Now, I want to give him, let's say give him an eyeball. Obviously you want to make these guys angry looking. After all, it is fantasy art, not reality. So here's the arm. I want to lose the arm. The arm is here. Now, to make this dark, so the arm and the knee pop up. I may add some more hair back here. Let's see here. If you have long hair, so I was thinking about giving this guy sort of a dislocated jaw. I'm going to try this out. So the jaw sort of hanging out. I may have this in pure darkness, this belt. Let's see what that looks like. I might seeing a little value here. Just a tad. Makes it more interesting. And even though there's a ring here, I want to see this completely black. It bothers me, so I don't want to see that. Like I said, this is in shadow, so we're not going to see any strong highlights on the head, but we'll see some detail. But like I said, even though this is in shadow, we can see some form by just darkening the other parts. Now I was thinking if I should have some hair come this way. Let's see here. This hair is sort of like wiry, thick hair. Usually I step back and look at it, look at the big picture. And if I feel like it needs to be darker in a certain area, then I'll go there and do that. Of course, this is all objective. You have to sort of use, your own noggin as to what you want to darken, and what's the reason you're darkening it. You always have to have a reason. Like I want to darken this here, just the very edge. Maybe I can raise this to make him look more angry. Raise it so it goes up. Now I'm going to darken these parts of the hat. These are going to be the same value as this back here. And then I'm going to leave a little highlight here at the very edge and darken this. A little highlight there. Darken that. Now it's okay if the jewels are not all the same size and they're crooked or maybe they're odd shaped. I mean, these are fantasy jewels. They were not. These were not made by machines or anything. They're. I'm trying to figure out if I like that or not. I don't want to see a more solid jewel, a more simpler looking jewel, sort of like. Let me try this one out here, because I tried the faceted here, faceted design, and I'm not sure I like that. Going with H here, and I'll put the highlight up here. Shade that in, and this will be dark here on the highlight. I'm going to get HB to pop this. Darken this area here to pop the face out more. Let's see what that does. What will that do? Because it's not working. Sometimes the details don't work. Gotta get rid of them. I think I'm going to tone this down. It's too much attention too much attention, so I'm going to go ahead and well, I'm doing a little balancing and checking my values out. So I'm darkening some parts that I think need to be darker, and this is my HB lead. The hand is touching the ground, so it would naturally be darker here. And this is probably going to be, this highlight, it's going to fade that way too. Maybe this here, at least some darker values here, just to make it come down this way. I'm picky. I'm just sort of going over and see where can I improve things, just little things here and there. Maybe a little bit here in the hat. I'm using my HB for this. Is it? Yeah. HB. Here we go. And this will definitely bring some interest to this part of the drawing. Now this here would be more of a drawing, even though that has some sketchiness to it. And the fact that I put all this rendering, all this shadow work, and all this detail into it, is considered a drawing in my opinion. A sketch wouldn't have this much information going on. But obviously it takes longer to do these, but the payoff is it looks cooler, it looks better. So it's neat to see all this dramatic lighting and shadow work and deep areas and movement. And it looks like, you know, like I say, he's crawling out of the ground. This here looks sketchy. That's fine. This is sort of sketchy. It's good to have little sketchy areas, and it's nice to have. I love the rendered areas that just make this thing pop. And I hope you learn some techniques or ideas from watching this video. And stay tuned for my next one. I'll be reviewing someone's artwork.